Hello, wherever you are in the world, welcome to Checkered Flag Extra, your non-race week fix of Formula One. This week, we're having an in-depth conversation with the man who is in charge of all things racing at Aston Martin. It's Andy Cowell, the CEO and team principal, and he's been chatting with Jenny Gow about his career from the engine man at Mercedes to leading Aston through one of the most exciting periods in its history, from its new factory and wind tunnel to the signing of Adrian Newey and working with drivers like Fernando Alonso. Heading into the new regulations in 2026, could Aston begin to compete at the front of the grid?
So we're coming to the Aston Martin hospitality area, and I'm joined by the ever lovely Andy Cowell, team principal, which is a new thing for me to call you really this season. Just introduce yourself to the listeners, if you don't mind.
Yeah, hi Jenny, it's lovely to chat to you. I've worked in motorsport for quite a while, been very fortunate. And I guess motorsport was a hobby for me originally. My father built sprint and hill climb cars, and so from the age of 5, 6, out in the garage helping build cars at the weekend, and then going racing at the weekend in the summer, in the fairer months of the year. And the UK is wonderful for that in terms of the amateur motorsport environment. And then did an engineering degree, worked at Reynard's for a year out in the middle of my degree, which provided a link really between education and hobby. It showed that there are professional engineering jobs in motorsport. So my time at Reynard was sort of really pivotal in providing that focus. And then when I graduated, I chose Cosworth as a company to join. Not because I loved engines more than racing cars. It was more a case of Cosworth was a larger company than Reynard's, and they provided a professional graduate training scheme. And so I thought I will join Cosworth. They offered a bit more money as well. I have to
handy.
Have to confess to that one. It was nearly double the salary, and when you're a youngster, it kind of matters. It was only £11,000, which gives you a reference to where Reynard's were.
Similar wage today, really. It hasn't moved on much.
No, shuffled. And Cosworth was a great organisation, a wonderful engineering university, I think some people have referred to it, and there's lots of people in this industry today that have come from there, and then joined Mercedes, and then left the industry for a few years, wanted to step away, but then I guess 18 months ago, chatting to Lawrence, he was saying, you must want to come back into the sport. Yes, was the clear answer. It's a wonderful industry. It's competitive ingenuity is at the heart of it, and I love seeing teams create awesome machines in record time and compete in such a clear, obvious way. Yeah, the stopwatch, the media coverage of your results. Yeah, it goes far and wide. Yeah, your family and friends know the moment you know. So it's a lovely industry, and really privileged to have worked in it so long.
Aren't we all? It sounds therefore that it was more luck that took you through the engineering route, the engine route, rather than anything else. At what point did you go, oh yes, this is the bit for me, or is it still just that's the way it went?
I think it's more that's the way it went. I've never, I'm not the sort of person that sort of mapped out a career plan. It's always been a case of whatever you're presented with, you grab hold of it, you do your best, you focus on the product that you're working on. Yeah, so it was always the engine that I was working on, or the power unit, as they're now called. And so you do your best for what the business is all about, the product that it's creating, and you think about that, and you get into the detail of that, and you push the boundaries, and you dream of what's possible. Yeah.
And dreaming of what was possible for you, was integral, I believe, and many in this paddock up and down believe, when it came to the success of Mercedes. I mean, you were the engine guy, in inverted commas, for Mercedes when they won 8 Constructors' Championships.
As you say that, I think of all the names and the faces of the people that actually did it. That, you know, it's Mercedes over a period of a decade built up an impressive infrastructure at Brixworth and an impressive team of people. I was fortunate to lead that team, and therefore became known as the person that did it. But it was that team of people that did it, and I set some dreamlike targets. Yeah, and often that group would talk about, our objective is to make the impossible possible. And we'd always set off on projects not having a clue how we were going to achieve the targets. The thermal efficiency of the power unit, we said we want to get over 40%, because that sounds like a nice hurdle. There were technical directors in Stuttgart saying that's not possible. Yeah, physics says no. Well, we went racing with 44%. Yeah.
Physics says yes.
Yeah. So innovation says yes. Yeah. And a lot of it is just hard work. It's incremental hard work. Yeah. We hear of marginal gains in other sports. It's exactly the same in engineering. A lot of it is small marginal gains. Now and again, you find a bigger golden nugget, a breakthrough, like the pre-chamber spark plug that a wonderful group worked on at Brixworth and first went racing with.
And when it came to you leaving Mercedes at a time when they were the dominant force in this sport, was that an easy decision, tough, different for many reasons, I'm sure?
No, it wasn't easy at all. It's not. I guess it was. It's leaving a group of people that you know well. But the organisation was working well.
You'd set it up for success, basically.
And I wanted just to do something different, just to explore different things. COVID hit that year. I handed my notice in the January, and then COVID jumped up on the globe in March. We did the respirator challenge, which was in a way a wonderful thing to, instead of the team at Brixworth doing power units, for the team at Brixworth to make 10,000 CPAP respirators, 1,000 a day, and then say ta-ra, was a lovely way of signing off, if you like. It was difficult, but I enjoyed the few years away and just looking and exploring and seeing some other industries.
Did you check in with the results each week, and when racing happened, did you sit and listen to it on the radio?
Yes, I would always dial into 5 Live.
Excellent.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the Chequered Flag. Yeah, absolutely. You know that, though. We were a regular listener.
No, wherever I was in the world, I would always keep an eye on what was going on in Formula One, and I probably I almost became the bobble hat that I was as a teenager. Yeah, seeing what was going on in the sport.
It didn't take long, though, for the call of F1 to welcome you back, and obviously Lawrence Stroll was significant in your decision to come to where we are now, Aston Martin, and it wasn't just a straight switch from Mercedes to here. I don't think people are quite aware of that at home, maybe.
Yeah, I guess for me, over the years when I was out of the industry, there were a few conversations with opportunities to come back in, but they were all linked to the power unit. They were all linked to what I'd done. What Lawrence offered was the opportunity to be involved in a team, and a team that's growing, a team that's got wonderful facilities, an enthusiastic workforce, and therefore to help build the team, to help take it to the front. And so that's that's a cool challenge, and that's the sort of thing I like.
We all know the influence that Niki Lauda and Ross Brawn had on Lewis's move to Mercedes. Was there something that Lawrence said to you similar to that, a point where you went, yeah, that's for me?
I think Lawrence has got a very... I like Lawrence's vision. Yeah, I like his focus on, I will do whatever it takes to get to the front. There's no aspect of we're here to be second or third or fourth or compete in the midfield. It's the nice, simple clarity of think about what's required, whatever's needed. The answer's yes. Clearly, we've got cost cap to operate within, so it's efficiency that matters. So, what do we need to be an efficient, focused engineering organisation? Is largely what this whole industry is about. So yeah, Lawrence's crystal clear vision. I want to get to the top, and the continental size energy that comes with the way he says it. Yeah, and working with the team for the last 12 months. Every other day I'm talking to Lawrence. Every week I'm talking to him face to face, and there's. He wasn't hoodwinking me in those early conversations. Yeah, it's consistent, it's firm, it's clear. That sense of determination is wonderful for this team.
And when it comes to the team, it's had so many guises, but the team inherently has always been a small, overachieving team. And then all of a sudden, Lawrence comes in, Aston Martin, the new partners, the new deals. It's very much changed the size of it, and there are some people that have been here from the beginning. Obviously not you're joining it. But what did it feel like when you first joined it and its iteration as Aston Martin?
Yeah, I think first joining it, everybody that I've met, and I tried to spend that opening month meeting lots of people on a one-to-one basis to have a human conversation rather than a working conversation. It's a team full of people that are friendly and enthusiastic. They all want to get to the front, and so it's pulling that team together. Andy Stevenson, he was a mechanic with Eddie Jordan a long time ago. And at the circuit, in the engineering office, I sit next to him. So, which I love, because chatting to him about some of the insights of the team, Andy, why is it done like this? Yeah, and he'll give me the history. Yeah, and then you can understand why it's like it is. I can chat to him about, I'd love it to be here. How do you think we do that? Who are the people that will come on board with that? Yeah, how do we do this? So there's wonderful people like Andy who've been here all the way along that really help, and equally the people like Adrian and Enrico that have come from teams that are punching right at the front, that know what our objective is, and so hopefully I can help link it all together. It's never as quick as we'd all like, though. That's the frustrating bit.
I know we're running out of time, but working with Adrian Newey, I mean, he's a man that I think everyone up and down the paddock, your driver has also said, Fernando Alonso has also said he was very keen to work with Adrian Newey. Having him on board now, does that change the whole dynamic of the team?
Yeah, Adrian provides a lot of a performance push. So he's he's an uncompromising engineer. That the competitive ingenuity phrase that I used earlier on. That is all the way through Adrian. If you sliced him in half like a stick of Blackpool rock, it says competitive ingenuity in there.
Please don't do that, by the way.
No, don't worry, I won't. No,
Okay,
I'll
good.
be in all sorts of trouble. But he's that's at the heart of him. And chatting to some of the mechanical engineers just this last week, and they're saying, Adrian's all about first principles engineering. And I look at them and say, well, shouldn't we all be about first principles engineering? So Adrian just brings that clear focus on chasing the pinnacle, which is wonderful for all the engineers to experience, and it's getting the whole business to think that way, where we're chasing peak performance in record time, because that's how you do well in this industry. It's actually remarkably simple.
So can you do it next year? I mean, the regulation change for 26 is much talked about. What position will you find yourself in? Can you challenge and give Fernando Alonso that championship that he's desperate to get?
We're fighting hard to do that. We're taking the transition from being a customer team to being a works team, which is a step up in many areas, doing our own transmission and rear suspension and hydraulics. As well as new regulations on the aerodynamics and the power unit, working with Honda instead of Mercedes. So there are many aspects that we're working on, and we're pushing to do our very best. We're pushing to make our impossible targets possible and stitch it all together. But all our opponents are doing the same. Yeah, and at the moment we're doing the exam, and we'll get the exam results in Melbourne.
Certainly will.
And the whole world get the results at the same time.
Terrifying in many ways.
Exciting.
And I just wanted to ask your opinion finally on the switch from team principal to being more engineering based than it is marketing. In the past we've seen these big personalities as team principals, and now it seems we're shifting to a different era. Can you try and explain why you think that is and why it's being successful?
I think the industry with the cost cap, it's important that the engineering machines that are at the heart of our business, that are within the cost cap, are well focused and operating efficiently. So having an engineering-led team helps with that regards. But all the teams though have got team owners or commercial people within them. Lawrence, who wandered past 10 minutes ago, he's busy working with Jeff to look after shareholders, partners, and make sure the funding is in place. So I have a chat with Lawrence to say, well, this is what we need to do with regards to investment and so on, and he raises an eyebrow and says, well, yeah, I'll get on with that bit, you get on with the other bit, which is different. Yeah, so perhaps the 20-year ago team principal that managed both the morale of the team with the technical director managing the engineering side, but the team principal managed the finance as well. That's been split out, but then the teams have gone from 300 people to 1,000. So maybe these top level positions you do need a few people rather than one.
So final. If I was a betting woman, which I have to say I'm not, obviously, but if I was, and I put £10 on a team for the Constructors' World title next year, who should I back?
I'm not going to answer that one.
Oh.
I'm going to avoid that one. Keep the £10 in your pocket, Jenny.
Okay, I'll buy you a drink with the £10. In fairness, £10 isn't going to stretch very far.
It's not, no.
I'll get you a can of water from hospitality. Is that okay?
That's brilliant.
Andy,
Thanks,
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Lovely
Pleasure.
to chat. Thank you. Bye-bye.
5 Live's Checkered Flag Podcast.
Always good to hear from the bosses of a Formula One team. Andy Cowell in conversation with Jenny Gow. Will Aston Martin with Fernando Alonso be competitive next season? Let's see what happens. That's it for this week's Checkered Flag Extra. We'll be back next week for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We'll have all the usual Checkered Flag race previews and reviews, plus live coverage of every session across the weekend. A reminder, it's a sprint weekend as well, so there is no messing about. You can listen to all of that on BBC Sounds, and all information like the session times and exactly where you can hear us will be on the BBC Sport website. Thank you very much for your company. This has been an ING production for BBC Sounds.